Can you please give us a sense of just how people in Sydney are feeling today?
Yeah, sure. So I just got back from Bondi and there were potentially up to about 100,000 people there. I have never seen such big crowds. I think that's a real sign of the feelings of devastation, shock, grief, and a sense of everybody wanting to be there. I think we can see some images now of just how many people were in attendance. So there has certainly been a real sense of shock. Amongst the Jewish community, there's a real sense of anger. They think that the government should have done more in order to combat known anti-Semitic threats. They say that they were warned. Everybody I've been speaking with is really wanting the government to take a good look at where things went wrong and how things can improve going forward.
Now, as you mentioned already, that the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, says that there were real issues with the country's intelligence service, and he's pointing to the fact that one of the shooters was investigated in 2019, but not labelled as a threat. How is the government right now planning to improve security there?
Yeah, so on that, I've been speaking with some experts who tell me that, somebody could be a threat in 2019, but they don't then get ongoing continuous monitoring. So at the time, it was deemed that he was no longer considered to be a threat. But we do have this video that has also emerged from that time of him pledging allegiance to Islamic State. There was also flags found in the car, two flags that were both of the Islamic State as well. So there are lots of questions, and you mentioned that probe that Albanese wants to launch with a report due early next year into how law enforcement missed this. There have also been calls for a royal commission trying to find out what went wrong. So far, we've had the federal government rejecting that is the Prime Minister, but tonight at Bondi, when it was mentioned, everybody was cheering. So there does seem to be a very strong consensus for further investigation. In terms of other reforms and measures, the other big one is hate speech. So we've seen the government say that they're going to be implementing widespread hate reforms when it comes to hate speech. So, for example, anyone that is not Australian could have their visas cancelled or revoked. If they engage in hate speech, there'll be punishment for any online threats. Preachers that preach hate speech will also face penalties. So that's one of the big reforms that have been announced as well.
And Katie, just with 1 minute left, the federal government will launch a new gun buyback scheme. That's the largest in 30 years since the Port Arthur massacre in Tasmania. What more do we know about the plan for tighter gun measures, and will it do the trick? So the buyback scheme itself, Australia has a history of that being very successful since the late 90s, as you mentioned, and that they're expecting that could acquire about hundreds of thousands of guns. They're also going to look at limiting the number of guns people can have, the types of guns people can have. They want to implement a register where people rather than just state by state. The big problem here is some states only have it on paper, so they have to digitise this as well. And then the other element as well linked to this is having numbers of many of these guns destroyed. So that's a big part as well. So there's lots of reform going on when it comes to gun control too. All right, journalist Katie Silver there reporting for us in Sydney. Katie, thank you so very much for that.